My mother-in-law switched the real sugar for salt in my award-winning cookies before a family baking contest. The video my 12-year-old niece took revealed everything, and now my husband won't speak to his mother for the first time in his life. For context, I am a trained pastry chef who left the restaurant world to raise our kids. My chocolate chunk sea salt cookies have won our county fair's blue ribbon 3 years running. My mother-in-law Diane has always been ... competitive ... She was a home economics teacher for 30 years and considers herself the family's culinary authority. Every Thanksgiving, the women in my husband's family participate in what they call the Heritage Clack-Off. The winner gets to display a vintage silver cake stand in their home for the year, a family heirloom that once belonged to my husband's great-grandmother. I won 4 of the past 5 years, which Diane reminds everyone is unusual for an in-law. This year, I decided to enter my signature cookies. The morning of Thanksgiving, I prepared my dough at home, but planned to bake them fresh at Diane's house so they'd be warm for judging. When we arrived, she was overly enthusiastic about helping me get set up in her kitchen. "Oh honey, I've already measured out your sugar and flour for you. They're in those containers by the mixer, save you some time," she insisted, practically pushing me toward the baking station she'd created. Something felt off, but with everyone watching, I didn't want to seem ungrateful or paranoid. I used her pre-measured ingredients, noticing the sugar looked perfectly normal. As I mixed my dough, Diane hovered, smiling a little too eagerly. When the cookies came out of the oven, they looked perfect golden brown with crackly tops. I set them on the cooling rack, excited for everyone to try them at judging time. My husband's aunt, the designated first taster, bit into my cookie and immediately spat it out. "Good Lord, what is that?" she gasped, reaching for water. Everyone tried them with the same reaction. They were inedible, obscenely salty. I was mortified and confused. I never mess up this recipe. While the adults were focused on the disaster, my 12-year-old niece, Zoe, tugged at my sleeve. "Aunt Rachel, I think you should see this," she whispered, holding out her phone. I was making excerpts about the baking contest and caught something weird. The video showed Diane in the kitchen before we arrived. She was carefully emptying a sugar container, refilling it with salt, and laughing to herself clear as day. I felt sick. My husband James saw my face and took the phone. When he watched the video, something changed in his expression I'd never seen before. Without a word, he walked straight to his mother and held up the phone. "What is this?" he asked quietly. The room fell silent as he played the video for everyone. Diane's face went from confusion to shock to embarrassment in seconds. "It was just a little joke," she stammered. "Rachel always wins everything. I just thought." "You thought what?" James interrupted. "That humiliating my wife in front of our entire family was funny. That ruining something she worked hard on was acceptable." His voice remained eerily calm, which somehow made it worse. In 15 years together, I'd never seen him confront his mother about anything. Diane burst into tears, playing the victim as usual. "You're choosing her over your own mother? Over a silly prank? This isn't about choosing sides," James replied. "This is about respect. And yes, if you are asking if I respect my wife more than someone who would deliberately sabotage her, we left immediately." James hasn't spoken to his mother in the 3 weeks since, despite her daily calls and texts, alternating between tearful apologies and accusations that I've turned her son against her. Yesterday, a package arrived from James's aunt, the vintage cake stand, with a note. "This belongs in a home where creativity is celebrated, not sabotaged. Diane has been disqualified from this year's competition. Your cookies, the real ones you brought us last week, were unanimously voted the winner." James placed it on our mantel, then looked at me with a sad smile. "I always knew who my mother was with everyone else. I just never thought she'd be that person with you. Sometimes the sweetest victory tastes a little bittersweet, but at least now it doesn't taste like salt."